Hello you, hello traveler, and welcome back to the Definitely Greece channel. Today we're actually heading up north to the city known as Thessaloniki, and we're gonna show you all that there is to do in this amazing city that we call our hometown. So I have a little confession to make. Originally the plan was for this video to be shot on location in the beautiful Thermaikos Gulf at the center of Thessaloniki CBD. However, we had a little audio malfunction, so instead of seeing the beautiful Thessaloniki landscape, you will have Pelagoni. Sorry. So let's get started, but before we do, hit the like and subscribe button so you can get more amazing content about everything Greece. Quotes I've ever heard about Thessaloniki is the following: you have to stay silent while walking around the city to be able to listen to the dialogue between the ages. An archaeologist told me this recently to, I guess, signify the importance of Thessaloniki being this incredible crossroad between East and West for hundreds and hundreds of years. Here is where civilizations would collide, survive, and hopefully and thankfully sometimes live peacefully side by side. And although Thessaloniki is actually the second largest city in Greece, it hardly ever makes it on tourists' radar. Thessaloniki was actually named after the sister of one of the most prolific and famous Greeks of all time, Alexander the Great. But before we dive more into the history of this incredible city, let's talk about what there is to see around. And of course, we have to start with the city's incredible waterfront. At the heart of the city and spanning for about 15 kilometers, you will see the wonderful Thessaloniki waterfront. If you pay close attention, on a clear day, you can actually see all the way through to Mount Olympus and its snowy peaks. And if walking is not exactly your style, there's so many different bikes, scooters, and everything in between these days for you to enjoy a wonderful day out. Enjoying a sunset along the waterfront is definitely one of the favorite pastimes of all Thessaloniki residents. And right in the middle, of course, the city's emblem, the White Tower of Thessaloniki, which nowadays actually houses a museum about the city. So as you make your way up, you will see different exhibits, arts, and important history from different eras. But the best part, I believe, comes last when you see an incredible view from the very top. Go to tip number 2 about Thessaloniki, which of course is the history. You really have to think about Thessaloniki as this huge open-air museum. There are several companies that offer free walking tours, or of course if you want to hire a guide and do it privately, it's a great idea to get your bearings around the city and have someone just walk with you and explain the significance of all this incredible architecture and different monuments you will find along the way. A very exciting thing we recently discovered was that due to the fact the city was destroyed and rebuilt so many times, a lot of the modern buildings actually sit on top of ancient structures and buildings. At the heart of the city, there actually used to be this really big hippodrome where some of the most significant events of the city would take place every single year. One of the supermarkets that you will find today was actually built on top of the locker rooms of the hippodrome. And one of the archaeologists actually told us that if you go in to the butchery section and ask to see the remnants of the hippodrome, the butcher will actually let you through this little fridge and you walk in and you see the hippodrome. And of course, this is exactly what we did. Thessaloniki also has one of the highest concentrations of Byzantine artifacts in the world. There's a whole museum dedicated to the Byzantine era in Thessaloniki and one of the most beautiful ones in the city, if I may say so. So if this is something you enjoy, I urge you to check it out. Which brings us to part number 3. And this is the cuisine of Thessaloniki, but most importantly, the sweets. As we said before, Thessaloniki has been a crossroad between East and West for hundreds of years, and this has created, in my opinion, some of the best desserts in the world. The city is famous for these little treats known as panorama triangles. It's this syrupy, flaky, phyllo triangles filled with a delicious custard cream. If you're more of a chocolate lover, you might find them in many different variations. Or you might want to check out one of the most famous patisseries in the city called Terkenlis, spelled like this, which offer a traditional doughy sweet bread known as tsureki, which is stuffed with chestnut cream and covered in white chocolate. Words cannot do those deserts justice, so if you find yourself in Thessaloniki, go check them out for yourself and thank me later. Tip number 4 for Thessaloniki is to check out the many markets located around the city. This is the perfect opportunity to taste lots of olives, olive oil, spices, oregano, fresh fruits, but of course also get souvenirs for your loved ones back home, but also things like antiques and books that you can also find there. The Modiano flea market is one of the most famous spots, and again, it's very close to the city center, so it's very convenient if this is where your accommodation is. And our last trip for Thessaloniki is actually the road trips that you can have from Thessaloniki as a base. Some of the best beaches in all of Greece are actually found in what we call Halkidiki. This is actually the part of Greece that looks like 3 little fingers. Whether you're looking for resort-style accommodation or you want to do something a lot more backpacking and raw and explore caves and coves, Halkidiki has something for every visitor, so have a look around at all the little villages that you can find along the coast and hire a car to enjoy the wonderful summery weather. Another highly recommended site you can visit from Thessaloniki is called Vergina. And it's probably one of the most underrated, I guess, archaeological spaces in Greece, as again it's kind of located in a very weird position and not a lot of tourists hear about it. Very close to Vergina, there used to be the capital city of the ancient Greek Empire known as Macedonia. In Vergina, you will find the amazing Macedonian gold that still survives today, some of the most incredible craftsmanship, and in Vergina you can visit the royal tombs where Alexander the Great was actually meant to be buried. But unfortunately this never happened because he died in battle very far away. But you can find his father's tomb, Philip II, who was obviously buried with a lot of gold. I don't mean to sound grim, but this is a wonderful collection of Macedonian gold. The archaeology world finding at the tomb or the burial site of Alexander the Great is still this incredible mystery. But going to Vergina, you are gonna get a first-hand experience of what life in Macedonia used to be like and what this Greek Empire of the North used to be like. So this is all for today. I hope I have inspired you even just a little bit for your next trip to Greece, to add Thessaloniki to your itinerary. Do not forget to check out our other videos for more awesome tips about everything travel Greece, and hope to see you in Greece soon.